Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mentorship Mondays with Michelle and Maren. And it's not a recording, it is us. We are back. Hi, Maren. I've missed you. I've missed you so much.
Michelle, I've missed you too. I can't wait to catch up today and see what you're up to.
Well, as we can see, the view is just a tad different here. And that is because there's something going on with my internet, which does happen every once in a while. So, we go with the flow. I say this all the time. We can't plan for things that, just happen to come up. And sometimes that is stuff not working around us. Sometimes that is changing dates. Sometimes that is the unexpected. And that's really what I feel in my heart today, is that there is so much changing on so many different levels around us, and a lot of chaos in a lot of ways in the world, in our families, changes, and change is not always comfortable. So my message, just as we start and getting together today, is hope and having hope and being able to be present and be in the moment is what I feel saves me every day. Is that being present and really allowing myself to, giving myself the permission to slow right down and really just look at exactly where I am in this moment and what I can do. And I've been doing a lot of that lately because it has been a very, very good, very expansive, very beautiful summer in so many ways, but there's a lot going on. And I don't know about you, Maren, but I have really felt in the last couple months how much we are growing as a collective, an individual and individuals, but at the same time, and we just said this real briefly before we came on, when we are expanding, we're expanding into something we haven't experienced before. And to remember that we're growing into versions of us that we have only imagined. And sometimes we imagine things with expectation for ourselves and for others. And it's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel like, I don't know what's going on. This is expansion. Aren't I supposed to be growing into something that feels more peaceful, something that feels better? And yes, that is what's happening. But we also have to remember that, just like childbirth, as we go through labor, and if we get right into it and think about when we have a natural childbirth and the labor process, the labor pains, and as that head crowns, it's going to hurt, but it's going to get closer and closer to what we are wanting to achieve. My goal in saying this to each and every one of you this morning, and before we kind of get into anything else, is that you're okay exactly where you're at, even if everything doesn't look okay around you. Is to remember that your job right now in this moment, as everything swirls around you, is to take the temperature of yourself. Where am I at? Where is my focus? Where am I putting my energy? Stopping everything and taking a breath. Taking a walk outside. It is more important than ever right now that each and every one of us really looks at our own discernment, where we're putting our attention, and really taking care, because this time is about compassion and finding compassion for the hard stuff, finding compassion for ourselves, because that's the only way we're going to deeply be able to express that compassion out to everyone else. So what about you, Maren? What's been going on?
Um, Well, I feel like I've been living in a very material world lately. I feel like my focus has been on not material, but physical.
Mhm,
My focus
mhm,
has been on the physical and not
mhm,
necessarily the spiritual. But I know like a few weeks ago, you said that now is the time where everything that was kind of in that like um, metaphysical world is kind of like now getting brought into the physical world. And I
mhm.
have definitely experienced that over the past few weeks. Some things, some very big changes have been happening. Like my mom got a dog, and that's a huge change for us because I feel like she's all of our, it's like my kids. They now say they have two dogs, our Luke
Yeah,
and
yeah.
now her name is Lola, and now Lola.
Oh,
So like, things like that. Like my
yeah.
husband's job is changing. That's been in the works for several years now, and so it's finally manifesting. So that's really good. Um, I just feel like there's just so much in the physical right now. It's I know that it's like the unwrapping of all the expansion that I have been doing. But I definitely feel a little disconnected um, to the spiritual side. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation to get back to my routine of just learning and growing and
Yeah.
just thinking about everything that we talked about throughout the week. Um, so I'm excited.
Well, that's important too, what you just said, because what you just said is what many people have said to me as well through sessions and everything about feeling like I've just been off track. I've been disconnected. I've not really been, I've not really
Yeah.
been focused in that way. But that's
Mhm.
actually by design.
Okay.
That's part of the process because when we're blending the veil between physical and non-physical, we have the collective veil, and then we have a veil that is ours between us and the non-physical. And that's why it's not a one size fits all for communication. And
Hmm.
there's two pulses. There's the nervous system pulse of the collective, and then there's the nervous system pulse of each individual. And the
And
nervous system is likened to the veil. So if you think about if your nervous system is in overdrive, in
yeah,
fight or flight, that's static. That's a lot of shaky energy. It's difficult to perceive the other side, the unseen in everything that we do when our nervous system is on high alert. And so when you're living through life and you get desensitized to a degree to the world moving very fast, to discomfort, to trauma, so you don't notice that your nervous system has been operating in overdrive. And so, because everything is in layers, what we're
yeah,
seeing right now is we're seeing that the collective nervous system is shaking right now. But it's because the veil is leaving a layer. A layer is coming off. And so we'll see that shake. We'll see that rise in um, sometimes in situations, sometimes we'll see chaos. That's why we see these mounting patterns taking place in the world, because whenever there's a shake and the collective veil is thinning, that's when I'll say the light that triggers the protection of the nervous system, so it starts to protect, it starts to hold on to beliefs. It starts to say, no, this is the way it is because it's wanting to keep safety, even
yeah,
though that's not truly what it is, right? So individually, we are learning to be able to walk in two worlds. Now, not everybody is going to have this awareness. And we've talked about this many times. Not everybody is here having an experience that is about blending the two worlds. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means that's not part of their experience. It's not part of their soul agreement, not part of what they're here to do. But for those of us that have the awareness and we are working in the direction of understanding that the two blend, we have an opportunity right now, and for everyone listening to this right now, your nervous system is at what I would describe as a new octave. And this is what you're experiencing, Maren, when you're saying, just focusing in the physical world. It's actually your nervous system is becoming more and more comfortable with the unseen. And so it's kind of like taking everything that has been absorbed into your auric field, into your mind, all those layers. It's those, the neurons that have reprogrammed, that have completely changed your reality. Because if you look at where you are today, where your entire family is today, and then look back 5 years and really see that difference. So the importance of focusing on your physical life doesn't mean your awareness of the unseen has gone, but that means that what's happening is there's a deepening. And so now you'll find as you move naturally, organically, because the time is right, into deeper states of your spiritual journey, you'll have that pattern again. And so you'll keep kind of doing that stepping in and out until suddenly you just realize that it's there. It's all there. And it's happening all the time, which you do experience that, but
Yeah.
it's deep.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I do feel like there's more of a blend for sure. Like intuitive wisdom does come more easily to me. Like I'll think of before it's like, okay, well, let me get in meditation, let me, put on my music and do yoga first and then go meditate and then I'll get my intuitive wisdom. Um and now I think it's more just like I have a thought and it comes to me, so it is
Yes.
like integrating
Yes.
more, as you say.
Yes. Yes.
So, um,
Yes.
so that's good. Yeah.
And that's the what spirit has shared with me about our own evolution is that because, and this is why describing that collective nervous system is important, because as we evolve, the necessity or the understanding that we have to go through certain practices is not, it's not something we have to always do. Now, let me be careful with this, because I'm not saying that these practices are not good or that they're wrong. What I'm saying is that as we deepen our own practice, because our intention starts to run that automatic response, right? And so our practices and how we are connecting, the truth is we are already connected. There is no disconnection. But for many different reasons, we might feel like we're blocked. We might have certain things that like we know we can hear more, but maybe we're not hearing in the way that we think we should be. There's all of these things that we think we should be doing more, but the truth is we're in this space right now where we do already connect. We're always connected. And when we have these practices in the beginning, they help us organize something that has really no structure to it, right? Because we're building our own structure to how we're
Yeah.
communicating. So, we're dipping into a structure that has been either channeled or provided from somebody else as a gateway, as a way to understand how it feels. And of course, the practices are important for the sense that we have to understand how to use our energy and how to work with boundaries. Like, we can't just throw somebody, it's like putting a child into a room and saying, now write an essay and eat a steak dinner, and they're a 2-year-old. And so you have to provide ourselves. We all have to provide ourselves with some sort of structure, but the truth is, it's already built within you. It's already there. And in fact, our belief system, if you were to say, I'm already a channel, I know that I'm bringing through spirit, I'm doing it with my heart, and you kept running with that, that would be your clear intention. But we all know that life in the world and everything else makes that a lot more difficult than to just run with that one thing. So I don't know if that's making sense, how I'm bringing it out, but um I feel like there's a lot of people listening right now that are really noticing how much spirit shows up in their everyday. And there's a lot of people that are really noticing their view of the world or their perspective and how different that might be to somebody beside them. Like really feeling those differences and that that's okay. Those differences are okay. How do you feel about that? Like how do you, just in going back to work, and how is that for you?
Well, just to touch on the perspectives thing, I think now more than ever, it's so important to remember that everybody has a different perspective and a different story, and that there's no two people that see the world the same. And it's so important to honor everyone's differences of perspective. So, um, yeah, it's so funny that you say that. I mean, I know, the big elephant in the room is the big shooting that happened this week, and it's very,
Yeah.
polarizing topic. Um, but yeah, just everybody, I don't know, I was just going to say something, but everybody has just a different perspective of that. And I think that it's just what's important is that somehow we have to figure out a way to find common ground because we are one nervous system, and I
Yes.
know that that's harder.
Yes.
But it's so funny because you said, why is there this chaos? And I said that same thing to myself. I said, when that happened, I said, how did I get stuck in this timeline? Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be like, elevating here. How did I get stuck in this timeline? But you're right. Like sometimes things happen um, to show growth and change and allow others to have a different perspective. Um, and I think that everybody is growing. It's so funny through that. My husband, he like saw, I haven't seen anything because like I'm like, nope, my soul cannot handle that. But he watched it all, and it really shook him.
Yeah.
And he's like, I need to lay down. That really you know, gave me like anxiety and worry. And I was like, you know what? The fact that you're even acknowledging that right now is so much growth because I feel like we in society, we watch something horrible and then watch something funny and then watch somebody selling something and then watch people argue. And then, like there's this like vicious cycle of the
Yes.
world, that we're in. And you kind of said that too. It was like we're in two worlds or something. And it's like the spiritual and the physical. And then it's like, but then we have this like internet world that is just not meant for our souls. You know what I mean? It's just so much it just puts our nervous system in such a like dysregulated state because we're not meant to go from happy to
Yes.
sad to selling
Yeah.
to arguing to death to, you know what I mean? It's
Yes, you're
so,
you're right on. Yes.
yeah. So taking the time to like regulate yourself is so important, or to like, I mean, I kind of question, I'm like, well, am I spiritual bypassing because I'm like refusing to watch the clip? But then I was like, I don't think so. I think I'm putting up a boundary with myself that
Yeah.
I know what
Yes.
my body can handle and what my body can't handle. And, it's not like I know him or he's my friend or that,
Yeah.
my life is going to be impacted anyway by what has happened. So I'm choosing to just stick in my reality.
Yeah. And
And I,
that's important, Maren. That what you just said is really important because in- just to touch real quick, spiritual bypassing, uh in my understanding, spiritual bypassing would be completely ignoring the fact that, oh no, everything's okay. I'm just going to stay over here in my bubble and nothing bothers me. It's spiritual bypassing is more of a fantasy, a space of fantasy, or attaching to only the light. And we have to remember. And so what you've done is not bypassing because you're acknowledging the trauma. You're acknowledging your understanding from experience what your nervous system and what your body chooses to tell you. That wasn't a choice of the mind, that was a choice of the body, because you knew how that would feel, and you don't need to put yourself into that to understand the impact. That's actually spiritual maturity in understanding that. And so if somebody can watch that and be okay with it, that's fine. If they need that, because we have to understand too, these are really hard topics for many of us. And when we have something happen that has so much polarized opinion and a lot of feelings, a lot of emotion for many different reasons, and being able to give compassion to and respect to a person's belief is important. And also to be able to discern when it's not time to engage or have the conversations is just as important, because that's respecting your boundaries, that's respecting your beliefs, and that's not really has anything to do with anyone else but yourself, your family, your responsibilities. And that's why that is so important, because it doesn't make you spiritual bypassing by not putting yourself in the we'll say the line of danger, out exposed, because you don't need to do that, right? We can still understand the weight of a situation or the topic without having to rip the topic completely apart, because the importance right now for many of us that are highly sensitive is to really look at what's happening in the body when all of these things are going around. So taking the thought and the words and the all of that out of it, how does my body feel? You know, allowing ourselves compassion and respect, allowing ourselves the time to heal, even though what you just said, I didn't know this person. I have no personal connection to them. I don't follow their work. I didn't know much. But at the same time, when you're highly empathic and sensitive, you feel that ripple of the nervous system through the collective. And so that you want to be careful with what you're consuming. Are you consuming something or watching information because it's educating something for you? Is it opening your mind to something? You want to be really careful about what is voyeurism in some ways, or um trying to think of the right way to describe what I'm feeling. When you're on the internet and when there is so much going on in the world, you want to be careful of what you're watching if it starts to cycle into, like you said, cycling through all these different emotions, because you can go from something that is very soul touching and is very opening and cracks you right open, and then in 2 seconds you're flipped right into some sort of a debate or battle that is harsh and or violence. You're seeing violence. You have to be your discernment, and for those that you care for, your children, your whoever you are is in your care, that discernment is so important and is nobody else's right to opinion what your discernment is, right? Because you know best for you. And that's through all of these things that are happening and will continue to happen, because there are things that are going to happen that are going to be very hard for us and have been. But at the same time, by attending to our own nervous systems and stepping in and out in whatever way is best for us to maintain ourselves is more important than anything, so that we can show up, so that we can do what we're here to do.
Um, the people that like want to feel the pain because the person felt the pain, like I need to watch this because I need to
Yes,
feel the
yes.
pain that that person felt. And like what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's very interesting because think about it like when there is pain, when we experience, like, because you're right, there's a lot of people that are like, I need to see it, I need to
Mm-hmm.
feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a vehicle for their own pain? Is that a
Mm-hmm.
vehicle for, because remember, when we see things, when we're attached to things, when we're watching, when our interest is there, that's a really good thing to bring up, because why? Why do we need to see it? Because that feeling's there. Why? Well, the why is different for many people, but a lot of it, there's a certain release. So there's a chemical release that some people may feel, and this isn't because there's something wrong with their mind or anything. There's a lot of people that want to see it. Some, like I'm just hearing right now, some want to see it out of curiosity because they've never seen
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it. A lot of it is that, because we go right down to the topic of life and death, here one moment, gone the next. The trauma, the violence, the tragedy, it happened in front of so many people. The tenderness of the family, the tenderness of all of the people's feelings that have anger towards him. Like there's so much heightened energy. And because there is polarizing energy in the unseen, we have to remember there's also these, I call them wind tunnels of energy, that can be caught into, because when the collective has been in circles of heaviness, there is an energetic charge that comes with trauma. And even though the feelings of trauma are different, it's that charge, that undercurrent. So if we think about how, when you have something take place, like if there's an accident or an injury, you get that adrenaline to carry you through that. Like a lot of people will look back at it, myself included, when you look back at something that was like, I don't know how I lifted that, I don't know how I did that, that extra adrenaline that comes. Well, what they're showing me right now is that adrenaline, people connect to that. Like there's a memory in the body to that sensation. And so there'll be many people that will see that and go back to that memory, to that feeling, and it's almost like a surreal feeling. that it gives. So there's a lot of different reasons why people would look, and it's not, I mean, yes, there's things there that are not healthy, you know, of why people would look. And a lot of it is, there's human nature, there's curiosity, and then there's something to be said about how much sensationalizing can take place and can take us away just as much as things that take us away in other forms. This can pull you away from your reality. And what I'm just hearing is there's a lot of big conversations to be had through this. And it's not a conversation that's going to come out in a week. It's it's going to be built upon.
Okay, so that leads me to the wacky stuff.
Okay.
The- What I
Because I love
have,
that too.
yeah, what I have seen on the internet about this is that there were two books published on Amazon the day before the shooting that was like all about the shooting. Like almost like
Hmm.
they were like, um, you can only see the cover, but there's like review and what it's about and everything like that. And then it has like published date and it has the day, or maybe it's even the day of, but I think it's the day before. And it's just kind of
Is
odd
it on
because like,
Amazon right now?
I think so. Yeah. And, what's interesting is that like obviously a book takes a while to publish, but then some people, like, I was there for the comments like, what is this? And so some
Hmm.
people said, well, you can like chat gtp a book in like an hour. And but then there were like some people that had self-published and they're like, oh, to go through the review process on Amazon and to like it takes a long time for Amazon to approve a book to be like on their website to be published. So
Mhm.
like it's very interesting. And so I was like, okay, is it some person that's high up at Amazon that's doing this as a prank? Or is this like proof of like a timeline? Is this proof of destiny? Is this, I don't know. It just brought up a lot of questions.
Well, it does. Now, I feel I heard the word debunked. I will say
Oh,
that. I
it's been
heard that.
debunked. Okay.
I,
Okay.
I I heard that. I've not seen this. I don't know. Like, this is the first time I've heard of
Okay.
any of this. So I don't know. I'd have to look into it. But there is something there. So we'll have to dig a little into that and look at it,
Yeah.
because I
Yeah. Maybe there's some
when I
internet
tell
sleuth
you, yeah,
stuff.
because there is something. There's a flicker of something to that. I don't know. Um,
I sent it to you.
okay, good, thank you.
No, I didn't. I said I should have.
Oh, yeah, okay, please send it to me if you can.
Okay. Okay.
Like, the other thing is
Yeah.
too, we
Okay.
are,
This person, I did.
yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna send this to you. Um,
okay,
the guy that reports it, let's see. Oops, let's see if there's new comments that says. So a month ago someone posted a file on Spotify titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. And then the New York Times and yeah, here's the screenshots. Hold on, this is the guy, but I'm trying to get it back to. Okay, this is the guy that talks about it.
okay.
Oh, my time limit. I'm sorry, guys. I limit myself.
Maren just got called out by her time limit on TikTok. That's
Okay,
good.
well, I'm going to ignore that
That's
for just
good.
a
Thanks,
second. So
Eric. Thanks,
it
Eric.
is. Okay. Come Out Better is it's on Instagram. Come Out Better is the guy.
Come
It
on.
says breaking news. New York Times and LA Times reported Charlie Kirk being shot on September 9th, the day before his assassination.
Hmm.
The Amazon books had the shooting of Charlie Cook posted one day before his murder. Um, I don't know. It says eyewitness accounts in Utah. Also, people in the crowd claimed that they knew he was about to be killed. I don't know about that. But anyways,
Hmm.
it's very interesting. So here, this
Yeah.
one, The Legacy of Charlie Kirk. There it is. And then this
Yeah.
one. Very interesting.
Hmm.
Oh, and this one. Oh, sorry, guys. All right. Anyways, just look it up. Come out
Yeah.
better. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I thought, okay, that's really interesting. That's definitely something to investigate. But I'm not, I'm kind of like you. I'm
Yeah.
very skeptical. Like, this seems like a prank. I don't know if anything has ever, it
Well,
seems,
there's something, so, and that's the thing too, like, um there is something in there that feels manipulated, physically manipulated, but I don't know what that is. Like, I don't know. I'd have to look further into it. I do hear the word debunked. That's a word that I got, so maybe somebody has seen something or cleared something with it. But I will tell you that there's also, when you're showing those pictures, there is a timeline hub, but we get this around any type of um major event. The
yeah,
timelines, so when you see the energy, you can see the intersections, or because that's what I do. Like, that's my number one thing, is I read energy, I feel energy, and that's how I maneuver my world. So when you have a big event, you can see the intersections of energy, like the different direction, and timelines are not linear. They spiral, they curve, and they overlap. So they don't always run side by side. A parallel timeline, to me, looks like this. It can move on top of each other, and they can curve, and they can split. So when I look at that specific event, what it looks like is actually like one of those, when you're in a big city and you've got the, what do they call them? Expressways, like the
oh,
overpass. That's what I'm looking for. Overpasses. That's what it looks like. And didn't we talk about that? About having, was it you and I that had the overpass dreams that we
I've
talked
had,
about?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That I don't
Like, I've
remember
had a
at least.
lot of dreams about overpasses and
Yeah,
malls, like
over
hubs.
time. In malls.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Because that's the image that I get a lot with timelines, is I'm shown roads, like overpasses, like how they move. So there's a lot of that there too. And that's why not everything is clear cut as, yes, this is what it is, because it's not just one thing. But there is something um interesting about that, because if it were complete, like, nope, that's not real, it would just be a flat no, that's just something that, and it's not completely flat. So there's something there. There is something there to
Yeah,
look into.
that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I find it very interesting. I don't know, um, you know, what I'm kind of like you, where I'm like, all right, I don't know if I'm quite buying this, but this is very interesting.
Yeah.
So,
And that's, again, I drive it over and over. That's why knowing yourself and discernment and feeling is so important,
mhm.
because we're not going to get all the answers. Like, when you maneuver through the world, you don't always know the why of why something is happening, or is it true or not, but you can feel truth in it. You can feel. So when you feel something and you know what that something feels like, then you can say, okay, yeah, there's something there. And you use that as your leader in discerning the truth. That's, each and every one of us, we have that meter. We have that meter, and that guides us in you know, what maybe warrants a little more of our investigation, and maybe what doesn't. I'm also just hearing one more thing I'm going to add here too, is that not everybody has the desire to dive into all the same things, and that's why your own discernment is the most important, because it's going to be connected to you. Because truth, yes, there is a truth of reality of what we experience together, but truth isn't always, especially with these things, linear, neat and simple. It's not just one thing. I do want to share an announcement since we're here. And I've already told you.
Okay.
And I know you're listening to it. There's a special friend that I talked to that I shared this story with as well, but I've not told everybody. So let's see, how do I make this short and sweet? Well, Rob was away up north. Okay, we we took a little family trip before he went away up north. And the day of our family trip, our beloved little Benny, the hamster, passed away that morning. So we were all ready to go. We're checking on Benny, and I don't know if y'all remember Benny, but I've talked about her many times. She's a little hamster, would flip over on her back for belly rubs, and she was a kisser and we've had her since a tiny baby, so very social, and never seen a hamster like her in my life. So little Benny passed. She was almost 5. So she'd been around, like, that's,
Is
pretty
that
old for
for
a hamster. Yeah, yeah. So it was 4, would have been 5 this winter. So anyway, I said to the kids, I'm like, okay, well, we're gonna go, and when we come back, like, we're grateful that she passed before we left, you know. And so we took care of her and everything, and then I said, when we get back, if you'd like to, we can go look another hamster while Dad's away. Actually, to Marcus, I said this too. And so that's what we did. When Dad was away, we went and, we made a little afternoon out of it and got some lunch and went and saw the hamsters. And there was only 2. And we were looking for a specific breed. Okay. Because we wanted to get the same breed as Benny, which is the Russian dwarf hamsters, a little winter white. Okay. So we went in and we asked if they had any. Yes, they have 2. And so we went up and looked at them. And of course, this cute little, I call her like a little puddle, little chubby little puddle comes up and looks at us. And I'm like, oh, I said, is that a girl? And they said, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think I'll take that one. Marcus was all excited. And so we brought our little hamster home, got her all set up. And Eric says to me the next morning in meditation, Eric says, there's a surprise for you. And he says, abundance is all around you. And he says, that little hamster came to show you stillness. And I'm like, oh, well, so if anybody's ever had a winter white hamster, they're known for stopping and like doing this little still stare. They like freeze in position. It's kind of funny when they do it. But anyway, I thought that's what he was referring to, right? And I was kind of like, abundance. I'm like, okay, well, of course, abundance is everything. Abundance in love, abundance of peace, abundance, So I didn't think much about it, but I know when little things get dropped in like that, there's like something that's going to unfold from it, right? You can feel it. And I know enough not to question, because I'm not going to get told anyway exactly what it is, but I know it's something good, right? So I left it. 3 days went by. When you get a new hamster, especially a little new young one, and you put them in their new enclosure, you want to leave them to themselves for a few days. Just make sure their food and water and everything is good, so that they can get accustomed, to the sounds, to everything, and then you can start to handle them. So everybody got back from their trip. My daughter, Shelby, comes in. She wants to see the hamster right away. She's so excited. She's like, oh, I want to see it. We always call her the hamster whisperer, because she's the one that She's the one that can train them. It's just hilarious. So anyway, she goes, "Oh my God, Mom." And I'm thinking, oh, I hope nothing happened to that hamster. And she's hollering from the other room. She's like, "Oh my God, Mom, Mom." She goes, "You won't believe it." We named her Cheesy, the mom. She had babies. Notice I said Cheesy, the mom. Yeah, abundance, an abundance of babies. I got a pregnant hamster. So,
Yay.
yeah, so Eric welcomed in the abundance of hamsters. And yes, there are, I wrote a little chapter on this, and there is unfolding synchronicities all to this. It was just crazy, but we have four little babies. Four babies.
Oh my goodness. Do you think the pet store knew this?
I don't think they did.
Because I mean, that was
I
like, what do
mean,
you think? Less than a
uh,
week after you bought her? She was
well,
clearly pregnant when you bought her.
well, oh yes, yes. Well, here's what's funny is that I remember when we picked her up, and the lady at the pet store was checking to see her gender to make sure she was a girl. She picked her up, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh, that's a pudgy little hammy." Didn't even didn't even dawn. So, we're looking for homes. So, if any loving hearts in the southwestern Ontario region is looking for a beautiful little hamster, it will come adorned with its own little cage. They all have their own cages now. I am getting them all set up, and we would really love to find good homes for them.
Oh, that's
So,
so sweet.
yeah, and they're very sweet and very friendly. Like, the mother is so friendly. But what I will tell you is it's been a real beautiful experience to watch the process, because they would have just been born the day that Shelby saw them, because there was nothing there the day before. So over the course of that night, they were born the night before they were found. And, but it's been really beautiful to watch all these little steps and how quickly they grow, and how quickly you need to separate them before they multiply.
Oh no. Mm.
Yeah.
So how many were there did you say?
So we thought there were three babies, and
Three.
I kept getting the field scan kept coming through as five. And I was like, "Oh, five babies, five babies, five babies."
Oh, so you
And
knew it before because of Eric. Like he didn't
yeah,
like kind of like leave it like,
no, I didn't.
up
No, he never
you
told me
knew.
there was babies. But after
Okay.
I knew there was babies, that's when I scanned, because we couldn't see them,
Oh.
because you
Oh,
can't
okay.
touch them and move around. So we could only see three noses, but I
Okay.
kept getting five. But there were four babies. There are four babies and one mom. So that would be the five energies I was picking up on.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so are they fun? Do you get to hold them or do you have to like keep
Yeah,
them?
just like just in the last 24 hours, because we weren't to touch them. Like, you have to be careful, because you don't want to touch them to have the mom, deny them,
Right.
because that can happen. And so we just kind of let nature take its course. I kept our eye on them. And then they're in with the mom today, and we've got their beds. They all have their own beds, and we're moving them out today, because she's not really nursing them anymore. They're all eating, they're all drinking, and there's a risk with these little ones. They are solitary. So even though, they're all together and playing, and they do play, they wrestle. So it kind of breaks my heart to do it. But I also know
Post
that
your
if,
page.
yes, I will. I will.
Okay.
I
But
will,
I want to
because
see them.
today we'll have them all out. So I will post the babies on our page, so you guys can all see our little babies, and maybe you guys can help name the little babies and help us find homes for them. Yeah. Yeah. And it's just amazing. It's that every little creature, you know, like our home is very animal orientated, very animal orientated. Like Rob is out in the morning feeding peanuts to the squirrels. Like he has a bag of peanuts out there and he lines them up, and these two squirrels come and they come right up to him, but they're hilarious. They are so funny, and he has a complete relationship with these squirrels.
Oh my gosh, Michelle, I watched the cutest, sweetest, most heartwarming movie last night, and you
Did
have
you?
to watch it. Rob would
Oh,
love it.
okay, yeah.
It's Billy and Molly, an otter love story.
Okay.
And it's about this man from Scotland who like kind of finds this lost little otter pup and kind of restores her back to health. And it's just like the most beautiful cinematography. And uh, he I had to Google the backstory because I was like, how did they like this isn't like a reenactment, like this is the story in real time with this beautiful cinematography, and like this guy is like doesn't seem like he's into like photography, so like how is this happening? And so they were getting their house remodeled, and one of the workers knew this, wildlife cinematographer or documentary guy, and he studies otters. Like that's his thing. And he knew him. And so he said, you've got to come check out this otter, this man and this otter. And I think you'd really like this story or something like that. And so then the
Wow.
film came and lived with the man and his wife, and it is just the most beautiful story. This guy is like bananas for this otter, and it is just so sweet and cute. So
That's all. We'll check
it's
that out. That'll be a good one.
on Disney Plus. I don't,
Yeah.
and like National Geographic, Disney Plus. So I don't know if the National Geographic channel is carrying it yet, or if it's just on Disney Plus National Geographic. But
We have Disney Plus.
Lee
We
and
have Disney
Molly,
Plus.
an otter love story. I was just like,
Billy and
oh,
Molly. Okay. That'll be a
it's
good,
adorable.
that'll be a nice one to watch. Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
And it's very
Oh,
soothing
man.
and like, I don't know, it's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
Yeah. That's, you know what? That feels like the right kind of groove for right now. That feels like a good one for our hearts right now, for
You
sure.
were going to cry. I cried about 5 times.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
There's nothing sad in it whatsoever. It's all happy tears.
No, I tell you, my tears have just been flowing lately, and not out of sadness and frustration, but just touched. Like I just feel very
Mhm.
touched by things. I feel very um emotional, but not just touched. Just seeing the beauty in things that are the smallest of gestures or the smallest little things in nature. It, it just that's I think where we can find so much peace, because we don't have to close ourselves off to the awareness of everything that happens, but we have a choice to look at all these little things and to experience the softness. We have to allow ourselves to experience the softness as a gift, to receive it. And it doesn't take away the difficulty or the contrast that we experience in the world, but it certainly helps. It certainly helps us. It helps us really see what is most important in our life. It helps us identify the love even in the contrast. And that's really what is the most important message of all, is that love really is in everything if you choose to see it, if you practice looking for it. Yeah. I'm sure there's all kinds of things, like we've got weeks of conversation, but we're back, everybody. We're back. We're
Well, it
back.
was so wonderful getting
Yeah.
back with you,
Yes.
Michelle, and with
Yes.
everyone. I
Same.
can't wait to see you in the comments and say hello
Yes.
and
Yes.
um, see what's going on with you. So we will see you guys next week.
Yes. We will see
Thank
you
you
guys
so
next
much for
week.
listening. Yep, and good luck with those hamsters, Michelle.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll post some pictures so you guys can all see what kind of chaos we have going on in our house right now. But everybody, stay healthy, stay well, stay in love, stay in touch with your heart, and we'll see you next week. Bye.